Okay, welcome to today's stream. I'm not sure how long it will last because the usual problem exists that if you've got significant numbers of people, then the stream breaks down. If you've got significant numbers of people, then the stream breaks down. So we can get the beginning of the march as it marches towards this location here, which is down by South Kensington, and there's a platform down the end there with the usual crew of speakers who will be speaking at the end of the demo. If you've been wondering what's been happening to the channel, well, the YouTube in its wisdom gave a couple of strikes in November after some speeches at the last in a Palestine demo then, which were declared to be medical misinformation. This strike ended on the 14th of February, and at 4 a.m. a video from 2 years ago was removed by YouTube as well. So immediately after the strike was ended, a video from 2 years ago was removed. So the idea is that we will purge a large number of videos from the channel because it looks like they are going backwards in time to strike things retrospectively relating to so-called medical misinformation, which may not have been considered medical misinformation at the time, but are now within their criteria. So just to stay ahead of the game, as not many people look at the archive, we will delete a lot of the archive and put that elsewhere, either on Odyssey or on Rumble, so you can keep accessing it if you want to. But we don't really want to get strikes for stuff from 2 years ago that no one's actually looking at and that YouTube just decides they want to delete. There's a little group here from Assange. Now there is an update here there's a protest about Julian Assange's extradition proceedings, and that takes place on Tuesday and on Wednesday of this week. So I'll just ask some of the people involved in that about the background to that, so you can get some idea. So what are you doing here today? For those people, let's start from the beginning. Julian Assange, who is he? What's he doing in prison?
Julian Assange started WikiLeaks. He exposed, since about 2010, all the really awful, bad things that are being done by many governments across the world that are being done in our name and shouldn't be done. He just brought it out into the open. So, of course, he's made an enemy of the USA because he revealed their war crimes and other countries as well. This has nothing to do with being against the Americans. And WikiLeaks is impartial. It reveals stuff that other countries have done that's bad. But the Americans are trying to fit him up, and that's exactly what they're doing. And I'll give you one example.
So wait a minute. How long has he been incarcerated in Belmarsh prison?
Nearly 5 years. Prior to that, he was stuck.
What's he in prison for?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that one, sir. Initially, he was in there because a chap called Thordarson, was saying he'd hacked. Now, Thordarson has actually admitted that he lied, and so that part of the case, which was the basis of their case, they're always saying he's a hacker, and that was the central allegation in the Old Bailey when Baraitser mentioned Thordarson 22 times as the teenager, which was his euphemism. Thordarson is central to the case. Now, since the Old Bailey trial, Thordarson has admitted he lied. So, in effect, there is no case.
But has he been tried on these charges?
No, he hasn't. What's happened is, I'm glad you asked me that question, sir. What's happened is, Baraitser set a trap.
Who's Baraitser?
Baraitser's the magistrate, call it a judge if you like, but technically she was a magistrate, and she ruled on virtually everything the Americans wanted. And the one thing she didn't rule on, and this was the trap that she set for us all, and some people still think she was being nice, and she was not. She set the trap by saying Julian can't be extradited because he'll kill himself. Now, that wasn't Baraitser being benevolent, that was Baraitser setting a trap. And what that meant is since 2020, since that court case, we have been stuck in whether or not the nitty-gritty, the tiny little details of whether or not Julian is suicidal, whether or not the Americans are going to push him to suicide.
But if someone was suicidal, wouldn't they be wouldn't they be sectioned in a mental asylum rather than a prison?
Well, I mean, look.
risk to person.
It's a tribute to Julian Assange that he's stayed sane-ish. I mean, look, it's obviously damaged him, and physically, he's had no sunlight for 15 years.
He's not in prison, having faced a charge that he's been found guilty of.
We're sidetracked at the moment, and if you Google Thordarson lied, you'll get to the heart of it. Now, since Thordarson lied, they've added on 18 other charges. They're all lies, just because they can't focus on Thordarson. Believe you me, we would love to have a proper trial and get Thordarson into the witness box, because the case should collapse on that basis. And I add, that's just one reason. There's really solid reasons. Another one is the Americans were spying for 3 years on all of Julian's meetings with his lawyers. Normally, in a trial, if that came out, the trial would be thrown out because his legal side is just defenceless. Another thing as well, all the judges in the trial, every single judge in that trial has some conflict of interest that they should have declared. And for the best example is Lord Burnett, who is basically a really good long-term friend from university days for about 30 or 40 years of Alan Duncan, who is the politician.
You're throwing a lot of names at me. The audience won't follow all the names.
Okay.
So cut to the chase.
What's
happening on Tuesday and why? So you're basically saying Julian Assange has been in prison 5 years in Belmarsh without having been found guilty of anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
And he's been sent to trial, or the decision is about. They have decided to extradite him, but they prevented it because of the question about whether or not he's a suicide risk. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep. And what that has done is narrowed down what the sides are playing pedantic ping pong with in the court, rather than dealing with the central issues, which is Thordarson lied. All his meetings with his lawyers were spied on. All of the judges have conflicts of interest they should have recused them on. And I add the Extradition Act of between the UK and the US categorically states that a person cannot be extradited if the offence is political.
Right.
So there it is in black and white.
The news yesterday was full of a story about a Russian guy called Navalny who's been in prison for a few years and died.
Yeah.
It seems there's some kind of parallel here. So we have a political prisoner in Britain, probably the most famous political prisoner in the world, actually.
Absolutely.
And he's not getting any justice whatsoever. That's basically what you're saying.
He's not getting any justice at all. And look.
So what's happening Tuesday?
Tuesday, there will be it's actually technically a hearing on those narrow points rather than the nitty-gritty of the actual case against him.
So the narrow point is he a suicide risk? Is that the issue?
I think he is a suicide risk.
No, that's the issue to be decided in court on.
Well, look, it is complicated. I just want to keep it nice and simple for everyone. Right. They've narrowed it down on Tuesday. There will be a decision as to whether or not he can appeal. He won't suddenly be released.
Oh, right.
They're not trying to. They are trying to. Our government, 15 miles away, over there,
15
he is
less.
being
judicially tortured and murdered.
Absolutely,
basically.
And it's not just me saying that. The UN Rapporteur on Torture says that governments across the world, which is basically America, Britain, with the complicity of Australia actually, and Sweden and all these other people that have been in with them, and Ecuador when they bunged him out of the embassy after the £4.5 billion loan from the World Bank that the Americans got for them. Those people have combined against him, and they're trying to kill him. And Nils Melzer, who is the UN Rapporteur on Torture, basically says it's slow motion torture of a man who's exposed bad things that governments across the country, the world have done. So it's absolutely awful. It's happening in our name. My message to people is, wake up. Google Thordarson lied. This is the trial of the century. Everything hinges on this. Not only Julian's life, the free press, and the free press is the basis of democracy. If the Americans get away with this, if the UK government lets them get away with this, if the UK judiciary doesn't do its job, if they let them get away with it, it's over. There will be no free press. There'll be no more releases about what's all the bad things our government is doing.
To what degree? Okay, but I understand the principle of picking on an important figure on this, but the free press is kind of a mythology in any case, isn't it?
It is. I mean, look, you're right. I use that as or two words that sum up quite a lot. The free press, put it like this, it's expensive to run a press and to have a news outlet. So inherently, the rich and powerful control that narrative, and that's people like Murdoch and all these other press barons and all these people that have bought up newspapers and are giving all these smears and lies about Julian out to the world that people believe. But there is a free press. There's free press like Declassified UK, The Canary. There's many, let's say, left-ish
outlets.
Yeah, outlets.
There are outlets.
You can find the truth if you just look. Yeah. So
how much
there is
time
a
a
free
day
press,
do you have to
but
spend? How much time a day do you, for example, spend looking for what you consider to be the truth, or something that allows you to discover the truth? How much time do you have to spend doing that?
Well, you could just Google Thordarson lied.
Well, no, I'm just asking you as a person.
Me personally, yeah. I do have a look at the news because I need to know that obviously Navalny's died, and look, it's just sheer hypocrisy.
Wow.
All of our pontificating, virtue signalling people are saying how awful it is that Navalny's been killed. I mean, I don't know the detail, but look, there's probably something. I'm quite sure there's something suspicious gone on there.
But if you were to
it's
weigh
happening
up,
15 miles
if
away.
you were to weigh up the two most, like Julian Assange, journalist in prison. 5 years plus, he spent his time in Ecuador in
10.
The whole Swedish story. It was another 10 or so, wasn't it?
Yeah, 10.
So you weigh up Julian Assange as a character and compare him with the real hero of our times, Taylor Swift. What would you say?
Julian Assange is an absolute hero of our times. What
should people do on Tuesday?
Come to the Royal Courts of Justice Tuesday and Wednesday.
Strand,
There'll be a big hearing. Just be there, no trouble. Just shout, tell everyone this is awful, this is wrong. We don't want any trouble, but we want thousands of people there to say we've woken up, this is wrong, and we are going to stop it. And we want the justice system in Britain to do their job, because they could give him bail, they could throw the case out. He needs bail. He absolutely needs bail. They're all pontificating about Navalny having been killed. And I don't know, but he probably was. They're all pontificating about that. Well, Julian Assange is being killed 15 miles away. It's awful. In our name, under all this bullshit charges of Thordarson. So we need to tell our people, firstly, give him bail, for God's sake. He can be anywhere safe, in house arrest somewhere. But it's awful. He doesn't get any sunlight. He hasn't had sunlight for 15 years.
Yeah, I think they've had tags for a number of years, haven't they, so they can check where you are.
Yeah, this is doable. But realistically, he needs to be out of that prison today, now, right here, right now. It's awful. But at the very least, now is the time to apply for bail, because he could get it. People are realising it's just awful, and people need to wake up, join us.
So
Royal
Tuesday,
Courts of Justice,
what time?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
From 9 o'clock
well,
onwards, all day
we've
long,
all got lives to lead. Just
day long,
turn
yeah?
up sometime during the day. There's
Okay.
going to be,
Okay.
a lot of people there.
Okay, what's your name? Any name, doesn't
Right.
matter.
Well, here's one for our American
Give
viewers.
your real name. Look, your face,
Paul
facial
Revere.
recognition. Facial recognition.
I know. Look,
all
Paul
that.
Revere. Paul Revere was a great American hero who told his people that a horrible empire was coming for his country. Well, and Paul Revere was one of many good Americans that sounded the alarm. Well, I'm one of many good Team Assange people sounding the alarm. Come, Royal Courts of Justice, Tuesday and Wednesday. You can make a difference. We can make a difference. We can tell our judiciary to release Julian, and we can tell our government this is wrong and we're not putting up with it.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, there's some placards here that relate to that, so I'll just show you there. And then we'll wander around towards where the demo's coming from. Yeah, that's how that name's spelt, Tortoise and Lied, so you can look that up, what he was talking about.
Ah. And then I can pretend to have some issues.
How you doing, right? How you doing, right? There's the Royal Albert Hall here and Kensington Gardens on the left. The Albert Memorial coming up there, the goldy one. Right. Julian Assange, what's going on?
Okay, so this Tuesday and Wednesday outside the Royal Court of Justice in the Strand in London, we're going to be outside from 8:30 onwards. That's the flyer. Everyone should come along because this is the final court hearing for Julian Assange, who might be extradited to the US, where we won't ever see him again.
What about the Palestine demo? What's this about?
So this is because, obviously there's a genocide going on in Gaza and has been for the past almost 5 months now. And
wasn't that caused, according to the news and the BBC and the official view, this was caused by Hamas terrorists attacking innocent Israelis at a pop festival, and something has to be done to stop Hamas from using the Palestinians in Gaza as a human shield. So the Israelis are doing everything in their power to protect the people and to free their people, their kidnapped people. They've got kidnapped posters everywhere.
well,
so what do you say to that?
I mean, first of all, this is the people in Gaza are not people living like the rest of us around the world. They've been basically imprisoned there since 2007, and what happened on October 7th was a response to not only that, but from being ethnically cleansed from all over Palestine. So Gaza is...
Haven't the Palestinians got the same, and Arabs, same rights as the Jews in Israel?
No, they don't. They have
said.
no rights in Gaza. They don't have rights to travel. They don't. When they did vote, the last time they did was in 2007 in a democratic, or 2006 in a democratic election. And the West decided that because the Palestinians voted for Hamas, that they're not going to recognize that, and have kept them under an economic blockade for almost 2 decades.
Okay, some people say that the Hamas leadership, when they were elected, they just squandered the money that was thrown their way and blew it on building tunnels and preparing for war. What would you say to that?
Well, that's absurd. I mean, it's ignoring what is actually important in this debate, which is these people are occupied in what the sociologist at Tel Aviv Hebrew University called the largest concentration camp in the world. Baruch Kimmerling said that. The people escaped the prison camp that day. That's what happened. And they went for military targets for the most part. They went for the IDF, which is, in control of Gaza and imprisoning these people. There happened to be a music festival there, and that was not part of the operation, as the resistance has admitted. But the fact of the matter was they wanted to take hostages to get their own hostages back. Now there's about 7,000 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli dungeons for no reason. Some are there teachers for painting the Palestinian flag on their faces at school, craft class. So the Palestinians went in with the hope to exchange their prisoners for the Israelis. A lot of the Israeli
Didn't they
hostages,
kill 1,200 people?
Well, we don't know that because what we do know is that the Israeli military, they actually bombed the kibbutz. They bombed. They shot. They were shooting out at the festival where the festival goers were, and.
So you're saying
That's been admitted by the Israelis. That's been admitted by the victims of this whole thing. They said that the Israeli military and Israeli police were attacking them. There's been multiple reports on this, not on the mainstream media, but if you go to Electronic Intifada or Grey Zone, or even a lot of Israeli media is covering it currently because they actually tell more truth than we do here in the West.
Weren't there mass gang rapes of
there's no
Israeli women?
There's no evidence of that, so much so that, even the New York Times has been forced to retract claims like that because there's no evidence of it. That was used to
Babies'
demonize.
heads chopped off?
Absolutely not. There's no evidence. It was all made up, and the reason why it was made up was to demonize the Palestinians as much as they can, so that the West and people in the West would support this genocide on them, which is not the first time that it's happened. These wars on Gaza. There was one in 2008 and 2009, 2012, 2014. 2 years ago as well. This is, I don't know how many thousands of Palestinians have been killed by the Israelis. Prisoners, refugees, that's what is being killed, and that's why there's so many people who will be at this demo you will see soon, are out here. They know what's going on, and I think more people should wake up to that too.
In the Yemen, there was a picture of someone I saw a few weeks back on a demo with a Yemen placard, and was attacked quite severely. What do you think about the Yemenis? Do you think the way they're destroying our supply of tea? Apparently, tea's going to run out.
I haven't heard
stuff.
that, but
tea's in the shops. No tea.
The Yemenis have a state that have been under Western rule by Saudi Arabia, which is the British and American rule, up until about a year ago. And many thousands have been killed there. Now they know what war is like, and they have solidarity with their brothers and sisters in Palestine. And what they're doing is not actually illegal. They are upholding the Genocide Convention by defending.
What's the Genocide Convention?
So that's the United Nations Genocide Convention. It was written decades ago, but it's basically I think a few years after the genocide in Germany, and it was to prevent it happening again, but it is happening again today, and it's being live streamed in front of our eyes everywhere.
So why aren't the other Arab states standing up in defense of the Palestinian people if they think it's their cause?
Why? Because a lot of them are funded by the West. They're just comprador regimes who serve the interests of the West and of course themselves, because they're all dictatorships too. The people in all of these states support Palestine. Maybe they will influence their leaders because it's been disgusting seeing how little they're doing for the Palestinians. They are saying things, they are stern words against the attacks in Gaza, but that's not enough.
Why should someone who's watching this, who has never really concerned themselves with Palestine, tends perhaps to think that these are Islamic fundamentalists or something like that? Why should they join a demonstration? What should they do to investigate, to find out, to balance their view, if you like?
Well, it'd be good if you could come out and just speak to people, try to understand more, because a lot of what the side of the Palestinians, their narrative isn't really available in our press because our state supports, the Israelis in this war.
What is the meaning of just to finish, because the word Zionist gets thrown around a lot as opposed to Jew or Israel.
Yeah.
What is a Zionist?
So a Zionist is just simply somebody who supports Israel on top of Palestine as a state. The right for, there's different definitions of it, but ultimately a Zionist, as you would understand it, is somebody who supports Israel's so-called right to exist. Now, no states really have any right to exist. They either do or they don't. What this is being asked is to give legitimacy to this, what is a settler colony in
What do you mean by a settler colony?
Well, it's people from all over the world, from particularly they started from Europe, Poland, Germany, this country, and then also the US and the Soviet Union back then in the early 40s and a little bit before, who went over to Palestine to colonize the land and take over what belonged to the Palestinian people.
Okay, what would you say to those people in Britain who say, oh yeah, but all the Muslims... Right, and then maybe upload a little bit later on. There is a second copy of this being stored on the phone. So that's the Albert Hall, that's the Albert Memorial over there. Prince Albert, of course, was a German, married Queen Victoria, love of her life, and he was very progressive minded for a royal. He came over here and tried to revolutionise the concepts of industry, science, technology and so on, and played quite a positive role as far as that type of layer is concerned, and I'm definitely anti-royalist. And just down the road you've got the Natural History Museum, the Science Museum, Victoria and Albert, which are all associated with this guy, Prince Albert, and his interventions to try and modernise Britain. That was the idea. And that's the boy himself on top of the statue over there. So apparently this is a disabled contingent of the demonstration. Sorry.
With the aim of connecting children to the pathway of Gaza. Because our children are going to be the people on these streets, in front of Downing Street in the next few years, in order to shout for freedom and justice for Palestinians. So we are forming a connection between children and the children of Gaza.
Let's go to Mama.
We want them to grow up remembering their names, sharing their stories, sharing their dreams. So far we've had workshops organised across the Philippines, Canada, Scotland, Ireland, and everywhere you can imagine. You can go online on birdsofgaza.com to view over 6,000 birds that have now been made from children all over the world. Each of the bird has the name of a child martyred in Gaza. So we're encouraging all parents, all children to get involved. So please check out birdsofgaza.com. We also have a little station set up with templates and arts and crafts ready for children to take part. We have a long list of names of the martyred children of Gaza. So we're encouraging all children and parents to take part. And you'll see we're starting to hang up all the birds along this line. So please do what you can to take part and spread the word of the project. Thank you.
Thank you everybody. Thank you Murtaza for the initiative. It's really important. And now we are going back to continue what we have been doing. And I think soon the march will be here. So the people who want to join the march, they are welcome. The people who want to stay, they are also welcome. Part of us will be staying here, part of us will be joining the march. So please, everybody, let's go back inside, and thank you again.
I mean, you can stay here, but it will be the way of the march.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, I guess, but the march
Okay, so I think that's more of a kids contingent than a disabled contingent, or families with children. I think that's the idea.
We'll march all the way.
You just get a head start. I was like, I know what it
Turn right onto South Carriage Drive.
وين نروح معلم؟ هي
Does it end here?
Do you want to go right in here? I think Arthur wants to say that.
I know, it's
Okay, no sign of a demonstration yet. Simon! 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 Just in the stream, do you want to tell a little bit about how the police have been treating you? Because I remember you driving around on your bicycle with your flag for well, a long time. I don't know how many years I've seen you doing that. But I understand the police have been on your back recently, so you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, as recently as Wednesday, I had my missus on the back, carrying the drum today, well, but usually.
A little bit louder, I can't hear you.
On Wednesday, I had my missus on the back. We've been outside Australia House, protesting for Assange. And I said, do you fancy a trip down Whitehall? She said, yeah. So she jumped on the back. We've got the flag up. We had the main flag up. This is just a temporary one because I'm planning on playing the drums, so I need a lighter flag. And we were pulled over going past College Green.
Right.
It's blues and twos, basically. They said, you can't go through a red light, and I just casually followed him through a red light, and then he pulled over. I thought he was on the way to another emergency, but it was me, because when he then got back in his van, he just drove away casually.
Okay.
And then we went past Whitehall, we went past Downing Street again, and then we carried on down the Strand, and we were pulled over again by another van with blues and twos, saying that you've been paying particular attention to number 10 Downing Street, I've noticed. I said, well, yes, that's the aim. It's for them to look at the flag. And he said, well, you do realise it's a protected building. I said, well, it's the most protected building in the country. You know, why have you pulled me over? Well, I was asked to. And I said, who by? And he wouldn't say. And he said, anyway, you've done nothing. You know, don't worry, you've done nothing wrong. And I
Okay,
said, well,
on a previous occasion, I think they jumped your bike, didn't they?
oh yes, oh yeah.
So what happened then?
I've been jumped before. What was it for?
No, what happened? When was it and what happened?
Oh right. I was accused of reckless riding. I've been told that I hadn't stopped when I was asked to, and I wasn't asked to stop. A police officer simply said, "Can I have a word? Can I have a word?" He didn't say stop. Can I have a word? I said no, and carried on. Anyway, I went around the block and came back, and this time they all jumped on me.
Where was this?
This was on Whitehall.
First you just
This was at the end of Downing Street. Yeah, okay. And
you are on private land.
1 minute.
said-
Give me 1
and they
minute.
said-
What, you want to arrest me? Call a police officer.
yeah, go on.
Just doing an interview.
Right.
Private land. I'm in front of the bloody Albert Hall. What are you talking about?
I'm in Plymouth, I'm asking you to move across there.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not listening to you. Who are you?
Right.
How do
I'm
I
the
know?
security
Identify who
manager
you are. Identify who you are.
I'm the security
Show me
manager.
your identification. Right,
you
and
go.
what's the authority? What does that? Hang on, that doesn't mean anyone can do anything like that. What does that
Right.
mean? What powers did I give you?
So I'm the security manager for
Right. So that gives you the
I'm
power
asking-
to interrupt an interview?
Yes.
You
'cause
can't
you're
do
on
it
our-
with anybody
you're on
else?
You're on our private
Why you pick on
property at
me?
the
Why
moment.
did you pick on me?
Pick on you? I asked you to
You
step
picked
off.
on me. There's plenty of other people here. Why aren't you picking on them?
Right.
Why aren't they allowed to be? Why aren't they prohibited from being here?
Right. Well, I'm asking
Why have you
to
picked
do-
on me?
I'm not picking on you
You
at all.
have picked on me.
Why am I picking on you?
Not bad. Yeah, this guy's harassing me. I don't know who he is.
So I'm just going to let you know this is security from Royal Albert Hall currently.
How do you know that?
Because I've been liaising with him all day long.
Right, okay.
Currently you're on private property.
So's everyone else.
They're not last year. If this gentleman's
They're not
asked
what?
to leave,
So why are
then,
you picking on us?
What authority does he have to ask me to leave?
because you're filming. on
Civil
private-
authority.
You're filming when it's
It's
private
civil
property.
authority, not criminal, right?
You're filming when it's private.
Is it
property.
civil or criminal?
It depends what you do with this.
Well, I haven't done
He's asked
anything.
you to leave.
I haven't done anything.
He's asked you to leave.
I haven't done anything. I've done nothing.
Yeah, we're just having a
He's asked you to leave.
Look, you're not seriously going to arrest me for questioning this man's authority.
It depends on which one of you do that. So if you do it in a threatening manner, which you think
I'm not doing anything in threatening manner.
Oh, okay.
No threat. He came to me when I was doing an interview, interrupted me.
That's fine because you are
That's
on
it.
private property. Okay. You're
So's everybody else.
You're right to protest.
I'm not protesting. I'm interviewing someone. I'm a
Who are you
journalist.
interviewing?
I'm interviewing this man here.
Right. Okay. That's absolutely fine.
Right.
You're on private property. That's
So what?
That's why he's intervening.
There's
So
nothing wrong with being on private property when I'm doing an interview.
it is if he's
Not-
asked you to leave.
No, it's not, because that's him. He can take that as a civil question. It's not a criminal
You're asked
question.
to leave. Okay. So you've been asked
It's a
to leave.
civil question, not a
asked you
criminal
to leave
offence.
private property.
Are you saying this is a criminal offence? Are you going to arrest me now?
Potentially, if there's a breach of the peace. So yeah.
There is no breach of the peace.
If he's asked you to leave.
What? That's not private land, is it?
So they're land. See those three.
That is not private land, is
See
it?
those three bricks there? Everything this side of it belongs to Royal Albert Hall.
Oh, right.
Everything that side
Right.
of it is.
So this gentleman over here seems to think he's got authority to prevent people going anywhere near the Albert Hall. And the police officer seems to think that's justified. Ridiculous.
Thanks so much.
Ridiculous. Absolutely absurd, mad behaviour. Who gives a damn whether it's private property? Ridiculous. Simon, do you want to come on? Oh, bloody lunatics. Lunatics, you know. Are you going to stop everyone coming down here, getting near there? Is that what you're going to do?
Everyone's army.
People are watching. They want to know what's going on.
No, I didn't mean you're wasting your time. I said the police officer.
It's not the police, it's the guy over the security dick, you know what I mean? Dickhead. Yeah, so when did they bundle you to the floor? What was that about?
that was for refusing to stop. And I said, well, why did you say that you asked me to put to pull over, which you didn't, why were you asking me to pull over? He said, well, I just wanted to tell you to ride more carefully. And I said, why? He said, well, you were swerving about, dodging in and out of traffic. I said, well, what do cyclists do? That's what cyclists do. You know, he said, well, you swerved and you caused a van to have to brake. I said, well, there's 101 reasons why I might have swerved. There might have been a pothole in the road.
You might be a swerver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the van might, sometimes when a vehicle behind gets too close, it's a good idea to swerve because it kind of wakes them up. The van was too close. That's why he had to brake.
So what did I'm sorry. A group of them bundled you to the floor. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
I was charged with dangerous riding and failure to stop. I've received a ticket for failure to stop since, which I haven't answered to. So I'm expecting a court summons at some point.
Okay.
But,
and is that so? Those are all the occasions, or are more occasions?
More occasions. Oh yes. Yeah. I mean, on the Strand. Let me see. Yeah.
So when did this all start? When did the harassment start?
Well, it's ever since the 7th of October. But I've been doing this for umpteen years.
Well, that's why I was wondering. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And I've never ever. It was. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yeah. No worries.
What I'll do is I'll wander through Hyde Park a little bit because the demo's still not getting here for a while, so I might as well wander through the park.
From this way.
Turn right onto South Carriage Drive.
Yeah, this private property nonsense seems to be the game they all play nowadays. And of course, what area isn't private property? You know what I mean? Public property is a piece of road. Of course, that doesn't belong to nobody. You have free access, and it's the same actually in private property. You have free access, and they certainly don't have the right to detain you. And if they want to get you to move on, they have to get the police, and then they'd have to charge you with some civil offence of trespass. They can't just eject you because they fancy it, you know. I mean, there was this. There are many cases where people have been squatting a piece of land, and then you have to get a court order basically to evict someone from somewhere. So the idea that you can just order people move here, move there, do that when you're standing in the open air in front of the Albert Hall, I think it's just nonsense. And then of course they come with the breach of the peace, and they try and instigate a breach of the peace. Update on another issue actually. I'll just talk to the camera for this. can. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah, just update on another issue. There was on November the 5th, 2020, I was arrested on a demonstration at Trafalgar Square. I was bundled to the ground by the police. I had my journalist card with me. I explained that I'm a journalist and I'm carrying out journalistic activity. I was arrested and detained from about 6 o'clock in the evening till 1.
Turn left onto West Carriage Drive.
Shit. Till about 1:30 or so. And the police never charged me with anything. And so I've got a barrister's just now said they're prepared to take up the case and take the police to court, because the police, basically what happens is, if you raise the issue of a protest with the, or better said, you raise the issue of illegal arrest, the police are basically given 90 days to respond, providing all the documentation, all the evidence about that arrest. So they have to, for example, provide all the video footage of every moment that they held you, including in detention
left
in the
West
police
Carriage
station.
Drive.
Sorry about this. The stupid thing's on. I don't know how to get rid of that. Any case, so you got 90 days. They got 90 days to respond to your request for material, their evidence and their records, and then after that, a decision can be made by a barrister or solicitor to proceed with the case to secure compensation and an apology from the police. So the police refused to provide compensation for the 5th of November, so a barrister's now taken it up. So the reason why we've recently been publishing material on lockdown policing is to encourage anyone, any of you who were arrested or illegally detained. And illegal detention, for example, what they just did now a minute ago was actually an illegal detention. If they didn't, you know, if I would have said, "Are you detaining me?" and he would have said no, then that would have been fine. But if he would have said, you know, you have to stay here and reply, then that would be an illegal detention. So, but if they put you in a cell and so on, obviously it's a bit more serious. And anyone who was attacked, beaten up, arrested, should go to court, and you can contact us. Just put a message underneath the video, or send an email. The email's on the YouTube channel, and we'll respond and put you in contact with solicitors who will take up your case. You know, I mean, if you're detained for 10 hours, 15 hours, you know, even without violence having been used against you, you're talking about £4,000 or £5,000 compensation. So it's worth your while doing, and it's worthwhile encouraging people to do this, other people to do this. So the demo's coming around now. I expect that the feed will probably break up as the demo comes nearer. I'll shift back. these demos tend to be organised by 3 or 4 groups, so it's like the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, the Stop the War Coalition, and a couple of other groups. These groups tend to be quite controlling in the way that they have the demonstrations move. So they'll march from A to B, they'll make an agreement with the police about that, and then they'll have a few speakers who are basically the same speakers every time. So it gets a little bit tedious and it does wear people down, but obviously because people want to demonstrate, they still can manage to pull a fair crowd. But it is demoralising really, because the demonstrations basically just follow the same routine, and it's almost always the same speakers who speak. And as you know, as a sort of speakers corner aficionados, we're in favour of a much wider breadth of people speaking, and in that way you get a engagement of the people. But in any case, that's to give perspective on it. Starting to buffer a bit, so you can imagine what's going to happen soon. If it buffers too much, I'll just zoom through the demo so you get an idea of scale, and I'll upload that a little bit later on in another file that will have an image of the demonstration itself, so the full demonstration. There's Andy Murray there, for example, Lindsay German. I mean, why do they stand at the front in the middle? To show that they're about to speak, they're the heroes of Jeremy Corbyn and his wife, Laura Alvarez, in the middle over there. And then come the rest. I reckon that's about 40 wide. 40 wide. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. About 400 went past in a few minutes. So let's say here you got about 30, 40 wide. Let's say 30 wide. You get thin. So you've got here, number of people came past the post here. This one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that'll be about 300 went past at that area. I mean, I guess a function of organising the demonstrations in this way is that the slogans will always tend to be the same. You get a chance to to let your vent your chants, and then get to the end of the demo and listen to the high and mighty. It's very, I'll put it straight, it's a very controlled protest movement. So despite the stories of Swallow Bridleman and all the rest of it, hate demo, anger march, rage, terrorism and all this sort of stuff, it's actually a highly controlled demonstration in the sense that the protest, the calling of the protest, the mobilisation of the protest and the route of the protest and the result of the protest is pretty much always the same. It's the Grand Old Duke of York. You have 10,000 men, you march them up to the top of the hill and you march them down again. And when they get to the end, they listen to a speech, then they listen to another speech by the same people, and then they go home again and they've done their bit, you know. That's all I want to say, but look, what's the point of making noise here, you see? You're next to a couple of embassies and some really posh houses next to the the Albert Hall. Otherwise, no one can hear you unless you're on a live stream or something like that. So this is the farce about marching these routes.
What should we do? Because it just stops there anyway, doesn't it? They're doing talks outside the Israeli embassy, which I don't see how they're going to do that. It's in the middle of Kensington High Street. If we carry on to Kensington, though, we can get some sushi. Do you want to go to the I don't want to go. Should we carry on then? Carry on to the next block? We might do.
Socialist appeal are forming a new party.
I saw that, yes.
Actually, I've got, if you want something, I've got
Their thing. No, I don't really want it now, thanks very much. Yeah, you too.
Palestine!
think I'll go down to ground level now, and we'll walk through in the opposite direction just to see when the demo ends. Yeah, we've got a sense it's a very big demonstration. I'd reckon we've had about 100,000 passes so far, so well, that's my guess. I'll walk through to the end, yeah? Really thinned out. It's still quite thick crowd.
From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. We pray. Palestine. We pray. Palestine. We pray. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Donate to Palestine Solidarity Campaign. We arrange these marches. We take cash or cards.
I donated.
Oh, you want to
down, right.
We need your card, we need your cash. Please make a donation. Free Palestine. Official donation point. Stop the genocide. Official demo collection point here. We need your card, we need your cash. Please make a donation. Free Palestine. Official donation point. Stop the genocide. Official demo collection point here. We need your card, we need your cash. Free Palestine. Official donation point.
Palestine Solidarity Campaign.
Any donation, donate to the PSC. Palestine Solidarity Campaign Collection Fund, ladies and gentlemen. Please give what's your if you can. All donations are welcome.
What does it mean, Jewish bloc for Palestine?
Sorry.
What does it mean, Jewish bloc for Palestine?
It means lots of Jewish organisations together.
Why would you do a thing like that?
Because I'm on the side of humanity, not on the side of barbarism. You have a choice. Either support barbarism or you support humanity. I support humanity.
And what about Jewish family and friends you have in Israel? What do you think they think? And
Well,
what
the Jewish family and friends I have in Israel support what I support here, which is no occupation, freedom for Palestine.
So what do you say to those? Because there's a lot of people in the mainstream who say Jewish people are horrified by what's happened to them. They're being attacked by monsters from Hamas, and so what do you say to them?
Well, I'm a Jewish person. I don't say that. Why don't you quote me to them?
No, okay, but because the people watching will be more familiar probably with the other arguments than with your own view. That's
yes, because the Jewish state, Netanyahu, etc., have a lot of publicity. They're supported by Biden and the British government. Who's supporting the Palestinians? It's like who supported the Jews when the Nazis were in power in Germany?
So how do you personally see the future of Israel-Palestine? Do you think there should just be a Palestinian state, or should people live together somehow in a dual state, or how do you think?
I would like to think that Jews and Palestinians can live in the same space. I could.
Okay, thanks very much.
Make a leaf also.
I'll do that, but interview is what we want really. Got 100 odd people watching, so.
Okay.
So you have a sign here. Let me just get a picture of it. International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network.
Yes.
So firstly,
Talk to Sam.
talk to him.
Yeah.
Talk to you. Talk to Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam. So what is the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network? What does it mean?
We're Jews in various countries, several different countries, who are unconditionally committed to human emancipation and survival, of which the Palestinian, the recuperation of Palestinian territory and the people of Palestine is an integral part.
So the origins of Zionism, as far as I understand it, there were some people who thought that the Jews that they needed to have a state of their own back in the 1840s, and that this was a way of escaping from their condition in the ghettos and stuff like that. So what?
But it was racist from its very beginning. Herzl, one of the founders, one of the people you're talking about.
No, I was reading about a guy called Moses Hess.
Well, it's Hess, but Herzl's another one. And Herzl said to the Europeans, send the Jews to Palestine because there'll be a civilizing force in a barbaric land,
right.
Which just shows you how racist it was in its very conception. But much later on, the Zionists made a deal with Hitler's government to break a Jewish boycott, which was led by American veterans of the First World War. And so in 1933, there was a huge international boycott led by Jews all over the world, which was actually doing real harm to the German economy, to such an extent that people were talking that Hitler wouldn't even last the rest of the year. And the Zionists cut a deal with Hitler. And the deal was that rich Jews could use their money to get out of Germany and go to Palestine, and the money would be used to buy German industrial goods, which would be sent to Palestine. So the Zionists did two things. They broke the boycott on the one hand, and they created a market for Hitler on the other hand.
Okay, there are also, I mean, in this reference that I had from this, what I was reading recently, the socialist Zionists. So what are they, and what's the difference?
It's a misnomer.
Okay, this whole kibbutz thing,
Yeah.
we're building a new Israel. What is that about?
Well, there was no state in Palestine that they could latch onto. So what happened was the labor movement, the Zionist labor movement, took over, and they literally ruled Israel for the first 35 years, and they were the ones, in fact, who cut the deal with Hitler. The labor movement, this is, the Israeli labor movement, and they were racist from the inception. They always excluded Palestinians from the union. The strike broke on a regular basis. They did everything they could to throw Palestinians out of their jobs and replace it with what they called Jewish labor.
Okay.
And that's the real history of Palestine, what happened. It was the labor movement that did it. And I was a trade unionist and a trade union officer for almost 40 years.
Where was that?
And in the United States, from the Utility Workers Union. And I feel that labor has a special responsibility. The Histadrut was the labor union that the Israelis formed, and it should be kicked out of every international labor organization because it's racist all the time. It has backed this genocide. It has backed everything else that the Israeli state has done to the Palestinians.
Okay, there was so someone at Speaker's Corner, a Jewish man I know, last week he was saying, tell me how the Palestinians are discriminated against in Israel. Can you give me some examples?
They all, it reminds me of the United States because people would ask the same question about black people. The fact of the matter is the police treat them differently. They cannot raise their own concerns about national identity. They're not allowed to have a national identity. Under the law, only Jews are allowed to have a national identity. They have, when you get out of Israel itself, they have.
The national identity issue you mentioned, what does that mean practically though?
Well, in practice, they cannot raise their concerns in the same kind of way. They're not allowed in certain housing. They're discriminated in jobs. They can be kicked out of neighborhoods. There's a whole series of things that go along with it. It's just regular racism.
How long you lived here? How long you lived here? How long have you lived in the UK?
I was brought up here, and I came back about 12 years ago.
mate. Yeah, thanks. Seems to be thinning out here. Whether that's the end is another question. That's a new one. Anyone know what that's about? MP3044. Why are they yellow? Yellow vans, that's new, isn't it? Anyone got an explanation? What's the flag? What flag?
It's like local flag.
Huh?
Local flag in Somalia.
Somalian, okay.
Yeah. This is the main flag.
Okay, what's that one?
That's a local one. Older.
Oh, okay. What?
Older.
Older.
Older, yeah.
Older.
Yeah.
What's this about? What's this about? What's the meaning of it?
Dictator of Egypt. Sisi. You know Sisi?
So what? Yeah, Sisi. Yeah, General Sisi. Yeah.
For Egypt. He's kill my friend in Gaza. He's a dictator.
And do you think he's in league with the Israelis?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. I do believe this could be the end, yeah?
Israelism! Israelism! Gaza, don't you cry! We will never let you die! Gaza, don't you cry! We will never let you die!
Yep, that's the end of the demo. A line of police behind. And that's us done here. Okay, thanks for joining the stream today. Hope you got something out of it. And luckily it didn't buffer much, I don't think. So see you again very soon. Certainly Tuesday, the Assange thing. Might stream from Speaker's Corner tomorrow, we'll see.